Please take all conversations outside. Quiet on the floor, please. Quiet on the floor today.
Recording in progress.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's stated meeting. At this time, please place all electronic devices to vibrate. Madam Majority Leader.
Good afternoon and welcome to the stated meeting of May 16th, 2024. I am Majority Leader Amanda Farias and I'd like to thank you for joining us. If you would like to follow along, the agenda for today's meeting is posted on our website. On behalf of the body, I welcome the members of the public who have joined us here today. During stated meetings, only members of the council may speak. Members of the public shall remain silent. If you wish to express your support of any remarks, you may make the silent approval gesture. I want to remind my colleagues that decorum is to be respected at all times. Insulting each other is not appropriate. All remarks are to be addressed to the chair, and members shall not speak unless recognized by the chair. It is essential that even if we disagree, we treat each other with respect. Members are reminded that affixing signs on furniture or on the walls of the council is prohibited. Council members may display signs and other visual aids by holding them up when recognized to speak, provided such signs are germane to the question before the council or their remarks during the period of general discussion, and further provided such signs are concealed when the member's time has expired.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Roll call.
Abreu.
Present.
Ariola. Aviles.
Presente.
Ayala.
Here.
Banks.
Present.
Botcher.
Present.
Brannan.
Here.
Brewer.
Here.
Brooks Powers.
Present.
Caban.
Present.
Carr. De La Rosa.
Here.
Dinowitz.
Here.
Ariola.
Present.
Felice.
Present.
Gennaro. Gutierrez.
Presente.
Hanif.
Here.
Present.
Holden.
Here.
Hudson.
Present.
Joseph.
Present.
Krishnan.
Here.
Lee.
Here, sorry.
Thank you. Lewis.
Present.
Marmorato.
Present.
Marte.
Here.
Mealy.
Present.
Menon.
Present.
Moya.
Present.
Narcisse.
Present.
Nurse.
Present.
Osei.
Present.
Palladino. Powers.
Here.
Wrestler.
Here.
Riley.
Present.
Thank you. Rivera. Salam.
Present.
Salamanca.
Present.
Carr.
Present.
Sanchez.
Present.
Shulman.
Here.
Stevens.
Here.
Ung.
Present.
Vernikoff. Williams.
Here.
Juan.
Present.
Yeager.
Here.
Zhuang.
Here.
Borelli.
Present.
Farias.
Present.
Speaker Adams.
Present.
Thank you. We will now have today's invocation, which will be delivered by Reverend Sully Guillaume Sam of St. Thomas Episcopal Church, which is located at 1405 Bushwick Avenue in Brooklyn.
Good afternoon. Years ago, a man inspired by God by the name of Jeremiah encouraged people to love and pray to the Lord for the city in which they were living, regardless of their immigration status. He urged them to seek the peace and prosperity of that city because their own welfare and the city's welfare were inseparable. Today, we are standing here in this chamber, regardless of creeds or birthplace, as one, united by the same ambitious prosperity for our city on which the future of our children and grandchildren depends heavily. Let us pray. We praise you, O God, creator of the universe and mankind. We thank you for your constant passion to save your creation, keep your children united, and make them prosperous. We thank you, O Lord, for all our city elected officials from all walks of life, especially those gathering here in these chambers to represent your people from our 5 boroughs and make decisions on their behalf. We thank you for blessing them with the desire and courage to lead and serve your people in the city of New York. Continue to pour your abundant blessings in this place and upon each one of them, so that they may always be empowered and guided by your love in the pursuit of the American dream for all. Be present among them, O Lord, through the power of your Holy Spirit, so that by the decisions and all the decisions may reflect your will for your people. Pour your blessings upon our city and our residents. Keep our city strong and safe. Please, O Lord, keep a special eye on the recently displaced Bushwick families and the owners of businesses destroyed by the recent fire in Bushwick. Continue to guide the leaders of our city and lead them to be successful in standing up for our people and country's prosperity. Amen.
Thank you. I would now like to ask Councilmember Sandy Nurse to spread the invocation on the record.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Just a few words. The Reverend Father Sali Gyame-san is a devoted husband, father of 3 sons, and a priest in the Episcopal Anglican Church. Born and raised in Haiti, West Indies, he attended school and received 2 bachelor degrees, one in theology from the Roman Catholic Seminary and the other in sociology from the State University of Haiti. Father Sully firmly believes in the benefits of education, using any opportunity to engage young people to remain in school. In 2002, as a Roman Catholic priest, Father Sully immigrated to the United States to further his studies. Father Sully earned an MA in Religious Studies from Fordham University and an MS in Leadership from Duquesne University, Pennsylvania, excuse my unfortunate saying of it. In 2010, he left the Roman Catholic Church to continue in ministry as an Episcopal priest. June 2024 will mark Father Sully's 25th anniversary in the priesthood. During his first 10 years of ministry, he served as a Roman Catholic missionary. However, he has since served as an Episcopal parish priest for the past 15 years. And for the past 11 years, Father Sully pastored the congregation of the St. Thomas Episcopal Church in Bushwick, New York, as its 9th rector. Father Sully is keenly aware that the local churches must be relevant to the people of their neighboring communities to be impactful and bring about change. And it is with this understanding and vision that he's dedicated his service to fostering better relationships and partnerships between his local church and its neighboring community of Bushwick. Father Sully is fluent in Haitian Creole, French, and English, and has extensive experience working with and ministering to people from diverse backgrounds. The Church of St. Thomas, where he is the chief pastor, is home of people from 19 different countries and cultural backgrounds. I want to especially thank Father Sully for all their support of the families who have been displaced from the fire. It was 50 people and businesses that were burned down, and recently hosting a clothing drive and in their support for new mothers regularly through their ministry. So thank you so much for being here.
We will now have the adoption of minutes by Councilmember Shekhar Krishnan.
I make a motion that the minutes of the stated meetings of April 11, 2024 and April 18, 2024 be adopted as printed.
Messages and papers from the mayor.
M41, City Debt and Reserves.
Received, ordered, printed, and filed.
M42 through M47, various budget documents.
Finance.
Communication from city, county, and borough offices.
M48, Statement of Debt Affordability.
Received, ordered, printed, and filed.
M49, Interest and Discount Rates.
Finance.
Petitions and communications.
None.
Land use call-ups.
None.
Thank you. We will now have communication from Speaker Adrian Adams.
Thank you very much, Madam Majority Leader, and good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to remember the life and legacy of Don Lee, a community activist who passed away earlier this month. Don, who grew up in Chinatown, was a dedicated public servant who recently served as the board chair of Homecrest Community Services in Brooklyn. He worked tirelessly to support his neighbors and amplify the voices of his community, especially our city's Asian American community. His impact will be felt for generations, and he will be dearly missed. May he forever rest in power. There is a new COVID-19 variant going around called FLIRT, or KP2. Though we're better prepared to manage treatment for COVID-19, it's very important that we continue to stay vigilant, be mindful of recommended vaccines, take necessary precautions, and do practice good hygiene. Earlier this month, we observed Yom HaShoah, or Holocaust Remembrance Day. And on May 5th, we celebrated Cinco de Mayo. May 10th was National Small Business Day. May 14th was Israel Independence Day. And today is Delta Day at City Hall, so I want to welcome the Sisters of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated to council chambers. May 18th, colleagues, is Haitian Flag Day, Ça passe. Last week, council chambers was packed with members of the Divine Nine for the council's second annual National Pan-Hellenic Day celebration. I want to thank Majority Leader Amanda Farias, Majority Whip Sylvina Brooks Powers, and council members Natasha Williams, Kevin Riley, and Yusuf Salam for co-hosting such a wonderful celebration to highlight the contributions and impact of our Divine Nine. Next, I want to wish a very happy birthday to Council Member Jim Gennaro, who celebrated on May 3rd, and Council Member Eric Botcher, whose birthday was on the 9th. Last Sunday was one of my personal favorite holidays. It was Mother's Day. Yay, mothers. And as the first mother and grandmother to serve as speaker, this holiday is especially meaningful to me and many of the mothers' daughters, mother figures, and mothers-to-be right here in this council. To all of the mothers who are the heart and soul of our families, communities, and this city, I truly hope that you had a very, very happy Mother's Day. Now let's move on to our stated agenda. First, we will vote on the following finance items. A preconsidered resolution sponsored by Councilmember Justin Brannan, authorizing a full 30-year Article 11 tax exemption for the preservation of 12 buildings in Councilmember Hudson, Aviles, and Hanis districts. A preconsidered resolution sponsored by Councilmember Brannan, renewing a partial Article 5 tax exemption for the preservation of one building in Councilmember Salam's district. A preconsidered resolution sponsored by Councilmember Brannan, authorizing a full 40-year Article 11 tax exemption for the preservation of 7 buildings in Councilmember Salamanca's district. And a preconsidered resolution sponsored by Councilmember Brannan, authorizing a partial 40-year Article 11 tax exemption for the preservation of 2 buildings in Councilmember Stevens' district. Next, we'll vote on the following land use items. The Timberlake Terrace Empire State Development Corporation grant application. NHPD request for the council's support for the city's application requesting $4 million in capital funding from the Empire State Development Corporation, or ESDC, under the Restore New York Communities initiatives for the reconstruction and redevelopment of the Timberlake Terrace project in Councilmember Salam's district. 97-22 Crestkill Place disposition, an application for the disposition of city-owned property in Councilmember Williams' district. The council will be modifying this application to limit the disposition to residential use. 817 Avenue H rezoning will facilitate a new 9-story mixed-use building with 42 housing units, 11 of which are affordable under MIH Option 1, community facility space, and 20 accessory off-street parking spaces in Councilmember Lewis's district. The council is modifying this application to reduce the rezoning area to require a transition in height from the development site to neighboring homes and to strike MIH Option 2 and add the deep affordability option. Lastly, 2 applications in Councilmember Osei's Brooklyn district that will facilitate 100% affordable housing development. 281-311 Marcus Garvey Boulevard, an application to facilitate 2 9-story, 100% affordable mixed-use buildings with 155 housing units, as well as community and commercial spaces. 1289 Atlantic Avenue rezoning, a 100% affordable 14-story mixed-use building with 112 housing units, ground floor community and commercial spaces, and 39 accessory off-street parking spaces. The council is modifying this application to strike MIH option 2 and add the deep affordability option. Today, we will also vote on the following pieces of legislation. Resolution 15, sponsored by Councilmember Julie Menin, would call on the New York State Legislature to pass and the governor to sign the New York Child Data Privacy and Protection Act and the Stop Addictive Feeds Exploitation, or SAFE for Kids Act. Thank you to our staff members, Sarah Suker and Christy Dwyer. Introduction 341A, sponsored by Councilmember Mercedes Narcisse, would amend the Student Health Report, which is submitted annually to the Council by the Department of Education, to include reporting on the number of students with sickle cell disease or trait. This report is important because nearly 65% of public school students identify as Black or Latino, and sickle cell disease is most prevalent in people of African ancestry. We thank our staff members, Nadia Jean-Francois. Lastly, we'll vote on Introduction 110A, sponsored by Councilmember Alexa Aviles, which would require the mayor's office or an agency designated by the mayor to provide an annual report to the council on the implementation of the Permanent Affordability Commitment Together, or PACT program. The information provided would include the developer partner and property manager selected to manage the property, hired subcontractors, total repair costs for each conversion, the number of days it took a developer to resolve work orders, and more. This legislation will bring needed transparency to NYCHA residents, the council, and the public about the impact of the PACT program. We thank our staff members, Jose Conde, Charles Kim, Daniel Krupp, and Connor Mealy. Thank you very much for your attention. Now I turn it back over to our Majority Leader.
Thank you, Speaker Adams. We will now move into discussion of general orders. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Narcisse, followed by Aviles and Osei.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And let me begin by expressing my gratitude to Speaker Adams and all my colleagues as we move toward to passage of Intro 341. And I would be remiss not to mention Chair Joseph for helping shaping the bill as well, so thank you. As a former triage ER nurse, I know that effective treatment begins with accurate diagnosis. The legislation is our way of diagnosing the gaps in our health care system, particularly in how we address conditions like sickle cell disease and sickle cell trait, and any other disease to that matter, which is disproportionately affects African American communities and other minorities. We aim to shed light on these disparities, specifically with sickle cell disease and sickle cell trait, bringing them to the forefront of our health policy discussion by mandating comprehensive health reporting. This bill allows us to pinpoint where the needs are greatest and to strategize on how to meet them. We are setting the stage for a more equitable distribution of health resources, ensuring that every student, regardless of their background, has access to care they need and they deserve. With the passage of this bill, we are making a strong statement that in New York City, healthcare disparities is unacceptable and that we are committed to ensuring that no community is left behind. Thank you once again, Madam Speaker, and my colleagues, and to everyone who has supported this crucial initiative. I urge you to vote yes, and be assured that together we are making a lasting impact on the healthcare system in New York City, and caring for our children should be our priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Aviles, followed by Osei.
Thank you. Today we are voting on Intro 110A, a piece of legislation long in the works stemming from my time as former chair of public housing. In that role, a running theme was lack of transparency at NYCHA. Perhaps nowhere is this more true than with the PACT program, or Permanent Affordability for Commitment Together. For those of you who may not know, PACT is a program that sells off management of our precious public housing stock to private management. Our city has invested billions in this program, with $1.4 billion dedicated between fiscal 24 and 26. The goal, of course, is to improve NYCHA's bottom line. But while the program has been running since 2017, with more developments in the pipeline for conversion, we actually have very little understanding around how it's performing and whether it is serving the residents of public housing effectively. We deserve to know how public dollars are being spent, especially if we are going to continue to invest billions into this program. Intro 110 aims to improve transparency, allowing us to understand fundamentally whether the needs of public housing residents are being met. Annually, starting from this fall, we will be able to understand some basic questions regarding PACT. Have evictions for tenants in these developments increased? Are tenants experiencing arbitrary increases in fees? Are repair needs being met and being met in a timely fashion? All of this and more. I'm proud to have advanced this legislation and hope that this is a first step in bringing greater transparency to a very opaque process and authority. Of course, this would not be possible. To the many NYCHA residents, thank you for your persistence and your tenacity. To the residents of To Protect Public Housing, to the Red Hook Justice Center, Community Voices Heard, and so many more. And of course, I want to thank staff who worked on this legislation, especially Connor Mealy, and to my staff, Christina Botego, and a big thank you to the Public Housing Chair, Chris Banks, and to the Speaker for their support on this legislation. And lastly, to all the committee members on public housing, thank you for your support. I urge you to vote yes.
I'd like to recognize Councilmember Osei.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to speak about two of the rezonings in my district that are on the agenda. There's no question that New York City is going through a housing crisis, primarily thanks to a dire shortage, and it has a significant impact on my constituents in communities of Bed-Stuy and North Crown Heights. This is an emergency, and we have to tackle the shortage without delay. The 281-311 Marcus Garvey development will include 2 mixed-use buildings with a total of 154 dwellings. I'm excited about this project because it will be 100% affordable housing, targeting units to those who are formerly homeless and those with AMIs in 30% to 80% range. Rents in this development will be as low as $215 per month for a studio for those who are formerly homeless, and no higher than $2,665 for a 3-bedroom unit for those in the 80% AMI level. That is bananas in Bed-Stuy, so I'm really happy about those rent prices. The development will bring in more affordable units to my district, which will provide more opportunities for our residents to remain in their communities. The 1289 Atlantic Avenue development will include a 14-story mixed-use building with ground floor retail space, 112 dwelling units, and 41 residential parking spaces. I'm excited for the pedestrian plaza adjacent to the northern entrance to the Atlantic Avenue LIRR station, and I'm also pleased that this development will go further than MIH by making use of HPD's Mix and Match program. 62 of the proposed 112 units of housing, which is more than half in this project, will be affordable to households making less than 60% AMI. That means studios for $1,200 a month right next to a subway station, and 3 bedrooms for under $2,200. If any of you want to move to Bed-Stuy now, you can. The remainder would be available to households making between 90 and 130% AMI, meaning studios for less than $2,000. I want to thank Council Land Use for making this possible, and I urge all of my colleagues to vote on both of these wonderful projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Seeing there are no more members signed up to speak, we're moving to report of special committees.
None.
Reports of standing committees.
Report of the Committee on Education, Intro 341A, Sickle Cell Reporting.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Finance, Preconsidered LU 75 and Reso 423 through Preconsidered LU 78 and Reso 426, Tax Exemptions.
Coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Land Use, LU 59 through LU 63, Zoning Amendments.
Approved with modifications and referred to the City Planning Commission pursuant to Section 197D of the New York City Charter.
LU 64 and Reso 427 through LU 67 and Reso 430. 281-311 Marcus Garvey Boulevard.
Coupled on general orders.
LU 68 and 69, Zoning Amendments.
Approved with modifications and referred to the City Planning Commission pursuant to Section 197D of the New York City Charter.
Preconsidered LU 79 and Reso 431, Timbale Terrace ESDC grant application.
Coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Public Housing, Intro 110A, NYCHA Permanent Affordability Program.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
General Orders Calendar, LU 59 and Reso 432, and LU 60 and Reso 433, 817 Avenue H rezoning.
Coupled on general orders.
LU 63 and Reso 396, 9722 Crestgill Place disposition.
Coupled on general orders.
LU 68 and Reso 434, and LU 69 and Reso 435, 1289 Atlantic Avenue rezoning.
Coupled on general orders, I now ask that the clerk take a roll call vote on all of the items coupled on today's general orders calendar.
Marte.
Permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
I vote aye on all. And I want to thank the speaker, Adrian Adams, for recognizing Don Lee. He was a legend and a lion of Chinatown. Born and raised in that community, he's done everything in his powers to make sure that the most vulnerable were represented. Restaurant workers that were being displaced. He's been out at pickets, hunger strikes, and he was the founder of Homecrest, an organization that takes care of our seniors in Brooklyn and in Chinatown. And he's remembered by his wife and his daughter and everyone who knew him as a friend. He never always agreed with me, but that's why I respected him, because he always represented the citizens of Chinatown. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Abreu.
Aye.
Ariola.
I vote aye.
Aviles.
I vote aye.
Ayala.
Aye.
Banks.
Aye on all. Permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
Thank you. I want to first of all thank Councilmember Velez on Intro 110. I believe that this particular legislation is groundbreaking, and not only that, but it also will allow for the exposure of this Get Rich scheme, which is the Rad Pack program, which I believe will be important to make sure that we get to the bottom of what is going on with the Rad Pack program, and will allow the housing public committee to answer or ask the questions that are needed. I believe the residents of NYCHA have long overdue demanded this, and I congratulate Aviles on getting this legislation through. Thank you.
Botcher.
Aye on all.
Brannan.
Aye.
Brewer.
Aye on all. I just want to second the concern and the love for Don Lee. He died in Argentina while on vacation. May he rest in peace.
Brooks Powers.
Aye on all, and congrats to all passing bills today.
Caban.
Aye on all.
Carr.
Aye on all.
De La Rosa.
Aye.
Dinowitz.
Aye.
Feliz.
Aye on all. Just want to congratulate everyone passing bills. Thank you.
Gennaro. Gutierrez.
Aye.
Hanif.
Aye.
Hanks.
Aye on all.
Holden.
Aye on all.
Hudson.
Aye on all, and I also just want to express my condolences for the loss of Don Lee, who I saw recently in my district advocating for older adults, and he'll definitely be missed.
Joseph.
Aye on all.
Krishnan.
Aye on all, and also express my condolences for Don Lee and my thoughts and prayers with his family.
Lee.
Aye on all, and also want to express my condolences. We will miss Don Lee, love him. He was such a fierce advocate for the community. Thank you.
Lewis.
Aye on all, and also want to share sentiments to Don Lee and his family.
Marmorato.
Aye on all.
Mealy.
Aye on all.
Menon.
Aye on all.
Moya.
I vote aye.
Thank you. Narcisse.
Aye on all, and thank you to Madam Speaker, the legislative body, and of course Nadia Jean-Francois and Sai Joseph and my team. Thank you so much, and Frank Shea. Thank you.
Nurse.
I vote aye.
Osei.
Aye on all.
Palladino.
Aye on all.
Powers.
Aye.
Wrestler.
Aye, and congratulations to Councilmember Aviles on another great bill.
Riley. Thank you. Rivera. Salam.
I vote aye on all.
Salamanca.
Aye on all.
Sanchez.
Aye on all, and I'd like to congratulate Councilmember Aviles on a terrific transparency bill. Thank you.
Schulman.
Aye on all.
Stevens.
Aye.
Ung.
I on all, and also want to express my deepest condolences on the passing of Don Lee. He was a true community advocate.
Vernikov. Williams.
I vote aye on all.
Juan.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Yeager.
Aye.
Zhuang.
Aye.
Borelli.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Farias.
I vote aye on all.
Speaker Adams.
I vote aye.
All items on today's general order calendar are adopted by a vote of 48 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 0 abstentions. Introduction and reading of bills.
All bills have been referred to committees as indicated on today's agenda.
Thank you. We will now move into the discussion of resolutions. Seeing no one signed up to speak, we will now have a voice vote on today's resolution. If you wish to vote against or abstain from today's resolution, please notify the Legislative Documents Unit by email or by approaching the dais. I'll now read today's resolution into the record. Resolution 15 calls on the New York State Legislature to pass and the governor to sign the New York Child Data Privacy and Protection Act and the Stop Addictive Feeds Exploitation for Kids Act, also known as the SAFE Act. Will all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. We will now move into general discussion. And I'd like to recognize Councilmember Lewis, followed by Hanif.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today I'm introducing several bills and resolutions that tackle pressing women health disparities and concerns. These pieces of legislation seek to prioritize the well-being of our community members. As we observe National Women's Health Week, it is important to recognize some critical needs for women across the city to thrive. My bill's intros 891, 892, and 893 aim to increase transparency surrounding the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene's Maternal Mortality and Morbidity Committee, support lactating individuals, and establish a screening program for endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome. I'm also calling on the Department of Education and Reso 409 to prioritize menstrual equity for women to permit students excuse absences while experiencing symptoms of menstrual disorders. And in Reso 410, we're calling on the state to create curricula to surround endometriosis and the effects of systemic racism and gender-based disparities. Additionally, Reso 408 to recognize May 28th as Menstrual Hygiene Day in the city of New York. Additionally, with the recent violence and assaults taking place among scholars citywide, I am introducing 407, a resolution calling upon the state to require mental health training in all teachers' colleges. It is imperative for our educators to be trained and equipped to handle the traumatic experiences faced by peers and to help navigate the challenges that scholars are facing in and out of the classroom. Colleagues, I urge you all to sign on to these pieces of legislation to foster inclusivity, advance gender equity, and make our city more equitable and compassionate for the generations to come. I want to thank Speaker Adams for making maternal, and menstrual health a priority in her last state of the city, and I look forward to passing these pieces of legislation with my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Hanif, followed by Menon, then Williams.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today I'm excited to introduce Intro 870 alongside Brooklyn Borough President Reynoso, Parks Chair Krishnan, and Mental Health Disabilities and Addictions Chair Lee. This bill seeks to address accessibility issues in our city's parks, which can prevent New Yorkers with disabilities from fully enjoying these critical spaces. During Lupus Awareness Month, I'm proud to be advancing legislation that would further disability justice in our city. This bill would require the Parks Department to assess park facilities for compliance with Americans with Disabilities Act standards for accessible design, produce an annual report on the accessibility of each park and the department's plans to address out-of-compliance facilities, and create and publish a map online depicting each park and the accessibility information captured by the report. I encourage my colleagues to join this bill as a sponsor. Thank you.
Councilmember Menon, followed by Williams and Sanchez.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today I'm introducing two bills that affect the health of New Yorkers and address over $1 billion owed to New York City. The first bill, Intro 894, co-sponsored with Councilmember Ung, requires the Department of Finance to create a 90-day amnesty program for parking violations and judgments from the Environmental Control Board, which includes sanitation, buildings, and fire department violations. Unpaid parking violations alone total a whopping $1 billion, with almost 30% of tickets not being paid in 2022. My bill ensures that the city creates an amnesty program for those subject to default judgments to pay the base penalty and have interest and additional fees waived. This will bring relief to struggling New Yorkers while helping the city quickly raise hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. We simply cannot afford to leave money on the table as the administration proposes cuts to vital city programs. The second bill, Intro 895, co-sponsored with Councilmember Shulman, requires all schools and child care providers to have EpiPens on site. As a mother, I remember back in 2007 when one of my sons ate just one bite of fish and suffered an anaphylactic shock reaction, which almost killed him. Thankfully, he was treated with 2 EpiPens, which saved his life. At that time, I learned that New York City ambulances were not actually required to have EpiPens, and I spent several years working on a bill at the state level, which now mandates that every New York City ambulance have life-saving EpiPens on them. But we really should not leave anything to chance, especially as there are over 2 million people in New York City with life-threatening food allergies. We need to make sure that every student has quick access to a life-saving EpiPen, and I respectfully ask my colleagues to join with me on these 2 pieces of legislation. Thank you.
Councilmember Williams, followed by Sanchez, then Nurse.
Thank you, Madam Majority Leader. I just wanted to welcome my illustrious sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, to the council chambers for the second Delta Days at City Hall, and also my wonderful scholars from the Institute for Health Professions at Cambria Heights, who also participated in a very important discussion around engaging our youth. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Councilmember Sanchez, followed by Nurse, then Zhuang.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I first want to shout out 3 of our interns who are here today, Kadim Gay, Mohamed Diallo, and Vladimir Marte from the Claremont International High School, who, by the way, are constituents of Councilmember Salamanca, Feliz, and Marmoratu. Welcome. I want to ask my colleagues today to join me in signing on to Introduction 904, the Billingsley Structural Integrity Bill, which would work to transform DOB into a proactive, data-driven agency that keeps us safer and through the establishment of a risk-based inspection system. This is an introduction in connection to the Billingsley collapse, which happened on December 11th at about 1 p.m. when children were going home from school and people were shopping in the bodega downstairs. The building had dozens of DOB violations, hundreds of HPD violations. And what did we do with this information? Did we give this building any special treatment? Do we treat buildings that we know are in disarray and disrepair and dangerous conditions for New Yorkers? Do we treat them any differently? The answer today is that DOB does not. We do not proactively go after these owners, and this is what this bill seeks to change. So I hope that folks join me in signing on to Intro 904. Thank you.
Councilmember Nurse, followed by Zhuang, then Riley.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today I'm introducing one bill for consideration and a couple resolutions. Intro 899 would require the Department of Sanitation to do a public education campaign on how property owners can restrict unsolicited advertising on their properties. This comes from many complaints, surprisingly enough, about supermarket coupon booklets and other unsolicited materials being haphazardly stuffed in front gates and other parts of entrances, creating a lot of waste. The bill would require DSNY to post sample signs on their website for download and printing by the public. I'm also introducing two resolutions today. One is calling on the state to pass legislation requiring at least one member of the State Board of Parole be a formerly incarcerated person. It's only common sense for someone with lived experience in the criminal justice system to be at the table. The second resolution calls on the governor to pass legislation that retroactively adjusts the compensation of formerly incarcerated individuals who were unjustly convicted. Wrongful convictions are devastating to families and communities, and this is but one way to repair harm. Thank you.
Councilmember Zhuang, followed by Riley, then Lee.
Thank you. Today I want to introduce Intro 907. For too long, squatting has been gone unaddressed. According to the state law, if the squatter stays in a property for 30 days, the squatter is given tenants' rights and allowed to stay. The property owner loses control of their own home, forced to spend thousands of dollars and years in housing court to evict the squatter. It's not about large real estate corporations. It's about small home owners and even the tenants who are at risk of losing their home while balancing a mortgage and an expensive legal battle. Often, squatters attack majority immigrant communities crossing the city because the squatter knows the immigrant community has language barrier and do not know where to look for help. Now people are afraid to even take a vacation and then when they come back, their home be occupied by someone else. When the squatting instance gets reported, it's classified as a landlord and a tenant issue, which get directly passed to housing court. There's insufficient data about squatting. There are limited ways in which people can protect themselves. Squatting is illegal. We must classify as criminal act. We cannot allow squatters to be above the law. Since I swore in, my office received numbers of squatting cases. In my district, a union worker forced to continue paying thousands of dollars for mortgage for a home he and his hospitalized wife cannot live in. The house has been burned down 4 times by squatter, who has been caused a lot of issues in the neighborhood. Our city must do everything in our power to protect homeowners, tenants, and strengthen public safety by working to stop squatters and providing data for those instances. My bill will require city agencies such as NYPD, HPD, 311.
Councilmember, your time has expired. Please wrap up.
So we want to protect the public safety, and also I want to thank Councilmember Raleigh to co-sponsor this bill. And please, please consider this bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Riley, followed by Lee, then Bottcher.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I'm honored to be here before you today to introduce 3 pieces of legislation crucial to addressing issues affecting our city. As we discuss ways to support affordable housing for all, we must also take meaningful steps to advocate for homeowners who are deeply impacted by this crisis. Homeownership is a cherished dream for New Yorkers, representing physical shelter, emotional security, and financial stability. But achieving this dream means little without safeguards to ensure it remains a lasting reality. To this end, I am asking for your support for 2 bills that address the complexities homeowners are facing when owning and maintaining a residential property in our city. Intro 907 was drafted in partnership with Councilmember Zhuang to require relevant agencies to issue a quarterly report on squatting in New York City. I look forward to collaborating across the aisle on this matter, and I extend my gratitude to my 21 colleagues for their bipartisan support of this co-sponsor on this bill. Secondly, I introduce Intro 901, which aims to create a homeowner assistance program for the Office of Financial Empowerment. This program would support New Yorkers inheriting residential properties, ensuring that they have the tools and resources to safely manage their homes. In addition to the previously mentioned homeownership bills, I introduced Resolution 417, which calls on New York State to ensure the return of fines and reparation payments to wrongfully convicted people in a timely manner. Justice impacted individuals deserve to be repaid promptly, to compensate for the losses they have suffered, and to support their needs navigating re-entry. As a city, we must ensure that all New Yorkers have the opportunity to thrive, regardless of their wrongful conviction status. I encourage my colleagues to sign on and support these bills. Thank you.
I'd like to recognize Councilmember Lee, followed by Botcher, then Brewer.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker, Majority Leader, and colleagues. It is an honor today to be introducing legislation in response to our city's growing maternal mental health crisis. Intro 890 would establish a 3-year pilot program of postpartum support groups, focusing especially on the most disadvantaged community districts in our city. In addition, we're introducing a number of resolutions calling upon the state government to require more of health insurance plans, psychiatry, residency programs, OBGYNs, and Medicaid managed care organizations. I want to thank the Speaker for her leadership on this issue and for declaring this a priority during her State of the City address. Thank you all, and I hope you can join in this effort.
Councilmember Botcher, followed by Brewer, then De La Rosa.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today, I'm introducing, in partnership with Councilmember Yusuf Salam and Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, legislation that will require the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene to staff each police precinct with a licensed social worker. Today in New York City, probably several times all over the city, there have been individuals taken into precincts for petty crimes, booked, fingerprinted, photographed, and just put out on the sidewalk. And it's very likely that no one during any of that sequence of events asked much about the person's circumstances, if they're suffering from substance use disorder, mental health issues. Do they have family in the city or the region that they could be reconnected with? That's what social workers do. This would be a profound step forward for public safety in New York City. And we'll be sending around an email asking folks to sign on, and looking forward to discussing this with everyone further.
Thank you. Councilmember Brewer, followed by De La Rosa, then Aviles.
Thank you very much. Resolution 397 calls on the mayor to appoint family court judges to fill the judicial vacancies. He has appointed 2 recently. There are more vacancies. The reason this is particularly important is we've had oversight hearings on family court. There are so many problems in family court, backlogs. And it's terrible to have backlogs in any court, but when you're dealing with families and children and separation and tremendous emotional challenges, it is really important to have enough judges so that there's less of a backlog. So that's an incredibly important position. Number 2, Resolution 398 asks the state legislature to pass 2 bills to establish a New York City grant program for laundry equipment at schools. I've been talking about this forever. The issue is not enough schools have a laundry. There are too many children in many districts that come from, are unhoused essentially in shelters or hotels. They do not have access to any kind of laundry. And the teachers and the principal are taking the clothes home in order to make sure that the children are clean and they are not bullied. So I feel very, very strongly that the DOE should get the funding or do it themselves, make the electrical possible, work to have a washer dryer and anything else that can help clean the clothes so that the teachers don't have to take it home and children are not bullied. Thank you very much.
Councilmember De La Rosa, followed by Aviles, then Narcisse.
Thank you.
Colleagues, I ask you to consider Intro 865, which I am introducing today, to require the Commissioner of Consumer and Worker Protection to establish and maintain an online, publicly available database that complies with information related to workplace fatalities that occur in New York City. This bill would also require the direct employers, contractors, and subcontractors to provide the Commissioner with additional information in relation to such death. A failure to report such information would be punishable by a civil penalty of no less than $1,000 and no more than $2,500 for each violation. Construction worker deaths in New York City continue to rise, even though workplace deaths across the state continue to decline. The New York City Department of Buildings, as we know, is understaffed, and OSHA inspections are well below the pre-pandemic number for workers who face dangerous condition. 24 construction workers died in 2022, compared to 20 in 2021 and 13 in 2020. Violations at these work sites coincide with worker fatalities, pointing to a trend of unscrupulous employers who put work over safety. Our introduction creates a set of data for us to follow up on these deaths, hold employers accountable, and financially liable for unreporting these deaths. Our goal is that not one more life is lost, and no one expects to go to work and not come back home. This is another level of protection for our workers who we memorialized not too long ago with NICASH and the CLC to ensure that employers take heed at worksite and employees know that should something happen, there are additional accountability measures to reduce these incidents at worksites. I ask you all to consider this legislation, and thank you.
Councilmember Aviles, followed by Narcisse, and then Mealy.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank the speaker for noting and remembering Don Lee. I didn't take the opportunity earlier, but his loss runs truly deep in both Chinatowns, actually all three Chinatowns across New York City. But his legacy is so much deeper. I will say Don welcomed me with open arms, with a great smile, and a lot of compassion, and his true love and commitment to the AAPI community, to their thriving as a community, was so refreshing. And he was willing to work with anyone who truly believed in lifting up people. And so it was truly my honor to have Don and his incredible organization, Homecrest Community Services, as part of my district. And I want to thank you all. And Homecrest, thank you for the work you do. Thank you to Don's family for giving us this incredible human whose legacy will run deep forever in New York City. And thank you to this body for remembering and working with him, and to the whole community. Thank you.
Councilmember Narcisse, and followed by Mealy.
Sorry, thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, I'm proud to sponsor Intro 897, which aims to enhance the inclusivity and accountability of our city's healthcare services committee, by ensuring that at least 3 members represent healthcare stakeholders to vulnerable populations. We can better address the unique needs for low-income communities, people of color, older adults, and the LGBTQ+ community. This bill also mandates transparency in implementing committee recommendations and involves the community through surveys and hearing. I urge you to support this bill to create a more equitable and responsive healthcare system for all our residents in New York City. And I would be remiss not to give credit to Ms. Davis that always helped me with the sickle cell disease. So thank you for everyone that contributing to make it possible. Thank you.
Finally, Councilmember Mealy.
Yes, I just want to give condolences to the family of Gerald Nelson, Chief of Brooklyn North, retired. He was a good friend. I worked with him for 5 years, and today at the Greater Allen AME Cathedral of New York, where he is laid right now, I just want to let the community know that he really loved the community. And thinking about, he was in the church, and he brought that over as being the chief of Brooklyn North and a chief of 73rd Precinct Council. The city has lost a good one, And I just want to give my condolences to his family and the family of Blue, the NYPD. Thank you.
Seeing no one else to speak, I'll now call on Speaker Adrian Adams to close today's stated meeting.
Thank you, Madam Majority Leader. Stated meeting of May 16, 2024 is hereby adjourned.